Welcome! Episode 47 of the Gridiron Garage. I'm your host, Zach Curtis. Alongside of me is co-host at J Law.
What's going on?
What's up, boys? And then our third buddy over here is at Big Daddy Griff.
How's it going?
I would just like to give Griff a round of applause. If you're watching on YouTube, hey, what's up? Hit the subscribe button. But that sick intro, Big Daddy Griff over here made it.
Editing genius.
Editing genius.
Looks good.
Totally didn't take me 5 hours.
It's all good. But we got a good one in store for you today. We got March Madness hitting. We got some MLB news. People need to stay off the drugs. And we got some NFL signings.
Griffin, if it makes you feel better, if that really took you 5 hours, it took me like 45 minutes to put your head on top of John Cena.
Oh, yeah. Well, the worst part about mine, though, is that, I spent most of the time trying to make a cool, moving background for a logo to go over top of, and I just gave up and found a stock background on YouTube and stole it, so.
Well, the worst thing about mine is that I put your head on top of John Cena.
Yeah. Just using the Snapchat snip filter. Yeah.
All right, boys, we got a busy episode for the sports section. Like I said, it's Tuesday. Griff, I'm going to turn it over to you. Or we'll talk about the chip first, and then we'll turn it over to Griff.
All right, do you know how to pronounce it?
I do not.
I don't either. Packy?
Yeah, Pocky.
So,
Pocky. I think it's Pocky.
This time of the year,
Pockies.
it's March Madness. And the boys come here. We're like, we know so much about sports. Let's put a friendly wager on this. Well, turns out this wager has not been friendly at all. It's been very toxic because nobody wants to lose this challenge. So all three of us put one bracket.
One single bracket.
One single bracket.
No cheating here.
Into this bracket pool. And the one who has the worst bracket has to eat the Packy one chip
I
challenge.
looked it up. It's Pocky.
Pocky.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways,
You know how hot that thing is?
dude, so I looked it up. They use the Carolina Reaper pepper, which is 1.9 million Scoville units.
It's hot.
So for those who don't know, I think you have also had it as well, the Mad Dog 357.
Yeah.
That's the hottest thing I've ever had in my life. Have you had anything hot like that?
Not that hot. The hottest I've ever had is something that was, the guy told me it was about 10% hotter than Blazing Wings at B-Dubs.
So, I mean, that's probably pretty hot. But
It was hot, but I don't think it was as hot.
The Mad Dog 357 is 357,000 Scoville units.
Oh boy, this is going to be bad.
And this is 1.9 million. And let me get this clear. It was one of our family things, and someone brought that hot sauce to Mad Dog 357, and I put a big globulous chip, downed it. I was like, I mean, it's going to be spicy, but I'm going to be all right. Fast forward 20 minutes, and I'm in the backyard puking my guts up from 357,000 Scovilles.
Oh god,
Dude, this is
are we doing
4
this,
or 5,
Are we doing this
6
live on the
times
pod,
that.
or are we recording it?
We'll record it.
It's
It'll
gotta
definitely
be the
it'll
end
be
of the
on you.
episode?
No, we'll just record it separate.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll just clip it.
I just
put
say we
on
do it at the
YouTube.
very end of the episode.
No.
Yeah, the only problem I have
the end of
is
the
putting it
episode.
at the end of the episode is if I'm the loser, I'm not going to be able to focus on anything I'm doing.
yeah.
Because I'm just going to be staring down this Packy chip challenge thing that's sitting on the table. And
We'll
I'm
have
like,
it sitting right in front of us.
my God, this thing's going to freaking destroy me, dude.
You're in first place right now, though.
Yeah. So,
Well,
Griff.
But you've got the highest odds right now.
Things could change
right
fast.
now. It can change very fast. But right now, I'm saying you have the best chance. But it's still very early. We're not even at the Sweet 16 at the moment of this. We're not even at the Sweet 16. So
The thing that I like about it is that we all three picked a different winner. We were given Griff a bunch of shit because he picked Illinois and they went out first in our bracket challenge.
Yeah.
And I was surprised that they got
technically,
upset.
both of our teams went out at the same
Right,
time,
right,
technically. But my
right.
team was the first one to lose.
Right. And then I picked Iowa to win, and on Monday they got absolutely thumped by Oregon, dude. Where did Oregon come from? That 1-0 victory over VCU, just absolutely,
yeah.
he just put them over the top.
Dude, Oregon dunked the ball. It had to be 20-something times. Dude, they were just
insane.
running the court. Boom! Alley-oops all over the place. They scored, 90-something?
Yeah, it was
96, something like 95.
96, whatever it was. They were 56 at halftime.
Yeah.
Dude, they were absolutely balling. So, in a sense, I give Iowa kind of a pass because even bad defense, you're not going to give up 96 points.
That's been the knock on Iowa all year, though, is they're really good offensively, and they've arguably the player of the year in Luka Garza, who's very good chance to win the best player of the year, win Naismith. But their defense has been atrocious. Their defense was playing a lot better at the end of the Big Ten season. Going into the last however many games and then going into the tournament, they played better defense, but it still wasn't great. But then Oregon just exposed them. Oregon just scored so much, dunking the ball, shooting threes, whatever they were doing. They just couldn't stop it. It was a shootout, too, because Luka Garza scored over 30-something points.
Yeah, I think it was like 36 points.
Your best player scores 36 points, and you still get blown out. That's insane to think about.
I want to clarify that this challenge is probably too much for our basketball knowledge.
Oh, for real?
Personally, I don't want to speak for them, but personally, I've probably watched 6 or 7 college basketball games this year, all being University of Cincinnati. I'm sure you've probably watched 5 or 6 Indiana games.
Yeah, probably.
And
I've watched a lot of games this year.
you've watched more games.
If
so
I
you
lose,
should
it's
be
going
at
to be
a
super
benefit,
embarrassing.
right?
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that you and I were beating Griff, and Griff watches the most basketball, and I'm on record saying how much I dislike watching basketball.
To be fair, I mean, all the knowledge is like on
It's
the
just all
internet
luck.
for us to find.
Right.
I think this year though, like I should have known going in because this has been such a weird year in general with like no super dominant team other than Gonzaga kind of, but like Duke being bad, UK being bad, UNC being bad, barely making the tournament. You know what I mean? The typical blue bloods you see that are always like really good picks in the tournament weren't even in it or really bad in it. I should have seen all the upsets coming. This is like the most upsets ever.
There's
in the
no
first
way
round.
you could have seen all these.
There's also a
upsets.
bunch of
That's
like,
what I'm saying,
teams
but,
that
like-
haven't played
like,
the full
look-
year.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, there's like a lot of unknowns and different
but
things.
That's
coming
that's
out
what I
of the
say.
COVID
Looking
year.
back at it now, I'm like, dude, there was like they were telling about all these teams that hey, this team can go far, this team can go far, this team can go far. But all these 14, 13, and 12 seeds that are like playing really well, like I feel like I should have put more upsets. I feel dumb when like why didn't I put more upsets in the COVID year? Because this is like would have been the year to actually say, I'm going to put a bunch of upsets this year because all the crazy stuff that's happened, and it's actually happening. Like, if you think about it, Oral Roberts, they're the big one. Everyone loves Oral. Oral
I
Roberts.
do want to clarify that my
Ohio,
non-upset bracket
North Texas.
could potentially still beat you
Yeah, but you definitely lost some
because
good teams. though.
Gonzaga and
Yeah, well, because you picked Gonzaga to win. So
Yeah.
Gonzaga has to get upset for that to be really tanked, which I think they're going to breeze to the tournament. Could
I think
be wrong,
so too. I think
but-
after watching today, I'm kind of upset I didn't pick Gonzaga.
Yeah,
Somewhere.
I know. I was
Because
saying-
it was would they play Oklahoma today?
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like Oklahoma was playing good, and it was like they had to play their top basketball the entire game to even like hang with them.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, Gonzaga, they make some turnovers, but they also take such high percentage shots every single time they go down the court.
They're good, man.
So the only way to beat them, I feel like, is to get turnovers and score at the same percentage that they're scoring.
I watching Illinois play like towards the end of the year and how awesome they were. I was just like, this is the team that like can challenge Gonzaga because Gonzaga's the best team. This is the only other.
I mean, it's a
team that
tournament.
Can challenge them.
It's one
I know.
game.
And then
anything can happen.
And then
I mean, Oregon could put up 96.
the absolute beast, the Chonk King, Cameron Krutwig comes in there and just completely dominates Kofi Coburn and the entire Illinois team. It was insane just watching Loyola do it again. And I got a serious question I need to ask here is how long do we go until we ban Sister Jean as a PED?
It can't be too many more years.
The last two
before she's banned for life.
The last two tournaments she's been. Oh boy.
Oh my God.
For those of you who don't know,
Banned-
Sister Jean's 101.
banned
This is
so-
the Lord's house.
Banned from life, not banned for life.
Gosh.
Banned from
What
life.
I'm saying is though, the last two tournaments that
I'm sorry, that
she's
was
been
mean.
she's been at the center of the center of the
Struck
eyes.
down by God right now. Hold on.
The last two tournaments she's
Canceled
been.
by the Lord Jesus Christ.
I mean, like they like feed off her, dude. The fans
Yeah,
feed
they
off
do.
her. Everyone feeds off her, and it's like she gave him that pregame prayer, which is basically a scouting report. Did you guys see that? She gave the pregame prayer and was talking about Illinois' percentages shooting the ball and how their defense can hold
she
it. to-
really?
Yeah, it was like the pregame prayer, but she's getting all these stats and stuff like that. So, so basically, yeah, I think she's a PED. I think the biggest PED users in the history is Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, and
Allegedly.
the Loyola Chicago Ramblers using Sister Jean. It's
Doing the Lord's work in here.
Anyway, but yeah, it's awesome. I was mad when Illinois lost because I'm scared of this Pocky.
So-
but I'm rooting for Loyola now just because of Cameron Crowley.
Jake
'cause I
has
love that dude.
been giving us so much shit about the Big Ten, Griff. And we both picked Big Ten teams to win.
Yeah.
And fucking Houston out of the AAC.
listen.
Big Ten has shit the
Before
bed this tournament.
before we go into this, I just want to say
Shit the bed. I didn't bring anything to prep for this.
before we go into this, I just want to say I think it's pretty obvious, and I'm willing to admit that the Big Ten was a little bit more overrated than we thought going in. I still think
How many bids did they get? Nine?
A
Yeah.
lot.
9 bids.
Yeah.
How many teams are left? 3? Two.
Two, I think. Well, no, yeah, 'cause
Come
Iowa
on.
lost today.
Come
right?
on.
Yeah,
So
Iowa lost.
Maryland, Michigan. Is there any more left? I think that's it. Rutgers.
But they got to play today. They've only made it through round 1.
Yeah, Maryland's got to play today.
Technically today, when you're listening to this.
Maryland's got to play Monday, this past Monday.
So tell us what happens.
I mean, Big Ten probably loses. If I've known anything else about the,
So I
I
think
actually have
Michigan's
Michigan
playing
going
too.
far. So I
I
need
think
Michigan to
Michigan's
win.
playing now. I mean, Michigan's the last hope for the Big Ten. I was listening to one of the Barstool podcasts, and Big Cat's a Big Ten guy, and he was talking about, here's my list of like actual Big Ten teams in the tournament. He was basically naming off teams that weren't in the Big Ten but should be in the Big Ten. Like he's like, Loyola Chicago, that's Big Ten country. They're in Chicago, right? Northwestern. You think about it, Indiana schools, like they're basically the Big Ten, so they're doing well. He was like Gonzaga. Gonzaga's best player, Jalen Suggs. He's from Minnesota. That's a Big Ten country, so Gonzaga's basically in the Big Ten.
Syracuse is in the Big Ten, aren't they?
No, they're in the not Big East, ACC.
ACC. Okay.
I mean, I don't
ACC.
think the Big Ten is bad, but it's pretty bad that you guys haven't won a championship since 2000.
Yeah,
dude.
they've had their chances too.
Come
and they've blown
on,
it.
you get how many bids per year?
Are you holding on to UConn winning?
Hey, they were
Are
in
you
the
holding
AAC,
on?
baby.
Are you holding on to
They were in
UConn?
the AAC.
Oh my God!
They won
this
one.
guy.
They won one championship.
We weren't even around in 2000. We got more championships than you. Come on, get with it, guys.
But yeah, the Big Ten definitely not as good as we thought. I still think they're probably top to bottom. They were definitely like one of the hardest and most competitive conferences all season. If you look at some of the other conferences, they were like basically one horse races. But
Dude, by the time our friend that listens to the old podcast catch up, AAC will have 2 winners this year.
think
It'll
so?
be because I picked.
let's talk about Houston then real quick.
I picked Houston to go all the way, and you want to know my reasoning behind this? So I told you I've watched like 6 or 7
Good
basketball
Ken
games
Palm too.
all year. 2 of those being UC versus Houston, and Houston absolutely whooped the shit out of UC. So that's why I picked them, because I was like, dude, I don't know how this team could ever lose.
Houston's good in Ken
I
Palm
don't know how
too.
they could ever lose.
But that you got to admit, you were pretty nervous the other night.
I was extremely like, dude, I don't. This is the most I've ever paid attention to basketball outside of my team in my life, and that's because the stakes are so
Because
high,
nobody
dude.
wants to eat this chip, dude. Right now,
Every time there's like a loss, it's just like messages getting shot out, like, bro, you're gonna eat the chip,
dude, I'm so nervous because I had West Virginia and Iowa in the final, and they both lost so far.
oh, that's not good.
Speaking of
I know, dude.
West Virginia, I
You
actually
picked him
went
because
out.
of Pat, right?
I actually went
No,
to
I
a
just thought
sports.
they had a decent team.
I went to a sports bar the other day, and we ordered a soft pretzel, and we were sitting there waiting on it. She's like, "This is taking forever to get the pretzel." I was like, "That's because all the cooks are watching the West Virginia game." There's 3 cooks standing at the window watching the end of the West Virginia game. It's like nobody's cooking.
I mean,
That's
it came down to the
hilarious.
wire.
I was like, I feel them. I'd probably do the
So,
same thing.
If we want to give the breakdown right now, just so we know about where the standings are. Currently, Zach's technically in first place. He's at 330 points. Jake's got 320 points, and I have 310 points. So we're all just literally 10 points within each other, which is
Right.
like literally a toss-up, right? The big difference, though, Jake still got 1,440 points left on the board, mainly because his champion's still in. Me and Zach lost our champions. I've got 990, but Zach losing 2 Final Four teams already is bad. He's only down to 710 points left to be able to be had. So who are your other 2 Final Four teams? I'm assuming Gonzaga's one.
Yeah, I would say
No, you got Gonzaga out. So your only other ones are Michigan and Baylor. So if Michigan or Baylor goes down, Zach, that's going to be really, really bad for you.
fuck.
Yeah, because I think Jake and I lost one of my Final Four teams for sure.
The only one you got Florida
with
State.
Illinois.
I got Michigan.
Florida.
We have-
That's our difference.
We have 2
I
teams
got
playing
Arkansas
tonight.
and Florida State
Oh yeah, and I got Houston.
and Gonzaga, and then you got
The Maryland and Alabama game, and what's the other one that's on Monday night?
Maryland, Alabama, Michigan's playing someone.
Yeah.
Florida State's playing someone tonight too.
I think it was
Or
Florida
Monday
State.
night.
I don't know. We both have different winners for both of those games, so
Yeah.
it.
Well, if Florida State loses, I'm going to be in the same boat you are. I'll have two Final Four people out, but yours will be bad because you have 2 national champions out. Because
Right.
I at least I'm hoping that Gonzaga wins it all now for the Pocky side, right? I really want Loyola to win it all, but for the Pocky challenge, I hope Gonzaga at least makes the championship game because I have him in my championship. So I had to put him in there. I didn't want to. I actually wanted to pick them out in the Sweet 16 because I kept thinking they were frauds, and I'm glad I talked
Frauds?
them. I know.
What are they, like 34 and 0?
It was, no, but it was
What's the record?
No.
You can't call them frauds.
because they're the same. They're the same thing as the Big Ten. They've been so good over the last years, and they always wilt in the tournament.
but who's in their conference?
Listen, but
34 and
tournament.
That's a different story.
In the tournament, they always wilt. They made one championship and they lost, and they made a bunch of Final Fours and Elite Eights, and they keep losing. So in my head, I was like, oh, it's same old Gonzaga. They're like the Big Ten. They're going to wilt in the tournament, and they're going to lose or something like that. But then last thing, I was like, I can't do that. They're so fucking good. So that's why I put them in my championship.
They are good.
Yeah. I'm not saying they are frauds. So my dumb mind was saying, oh, Gonzaga. Look at Gonzaga over the last 10 years. They fraud every year out in the tournament. So
Well, as of now, we still believe that we're smart for putting Gonzaga in.
yeah, I know. Until they lose the Sweet 16, just like I thought originally. Oh, man.
So I don't know who's going to eat the chip.
I hope it's not me.
We're going to be gripping our chairs. That's for sure.
for real,
All
dude.
throughout this next week.
April 4th. That's just so far away, but it's so close.
I feel like we'll know the loser before then.
Let's talk about
Let's do
Oral
it.
Roberts real quick. Did you guys watch those games?
I've
Either of the
not.
games?
I haven't
I
watched
did not
either.
watch Oral. I just assumed they wouldn't win.
Is it oral or ol?
Oral.
Oral Robert?
Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts, ORU. It's insane. They got two guys. I think it's O'Banner and Asmus, and they're ballers, man. Like, they both scored like 30 points each game. Like, that's like 120 points between two players in 2 games. That's insane.
That is insane.
Yeah, they're balling. I think the Asmus guy is the leading scorer in the country. He scores the most points a game. So,
Iowa center scored like 36 today.
yeah, he's a baller, too. He's probably going to win Player of the Year.
You think so?
Yeah, people were saying he's like the odds-on favorite for Player of the Year. Him or
Garza? Is that his name?
Garza.
Garza?
Him or the Oklahoma State guy, Cade Cunningham, but he lost. Oklahoma State's out too. They lost to Oregon State, who's also been balling. The Pac-12. Can we talk about that, actually? The Pac-12, everyone's like Big Ten, Big Ten, Big Ten, Big Ten, Big Ten, Big Ten, right? The Pac-12 is balling, right? I mean, as of
that
right now,
speed, baby.
At the moment of this taping, right? I don't think they've lost a single. I think they're undefeated in the tournament because UCLA's got 2 wins. They're currently playing right now as we're recording this.
How do you feel
Oregon
about
State
that?
won.
I do not want UCLA to win. Not a chance in my life.
Oregon State balled out and beat Oklahoma State. Oregon obviously dominated Iowa. They're undefeated. They're playing insane. Like, the Pac-12 is playing awesome now. USC hasn't lost yet. They're currently about to play, I think, in like an hour or so as the time we're taping this. I also have USC in my Elite Eight, so that's a little scary for me.
I should have known the Big Ten were frauds. I lived with Griff. He was like, bro, dude, the Big Ten's good. I was like, yeah, well, they're kind of good.
So, we're going to talk about the Mean Green.
Let's get it over with.
Mean Green.
So
Putting that smack down on Purdue.
So I always have an internal battle after my team suffers a devastating loss in the tournament, like they do every fucking year. So, but I always have an internal battle with myself, and that's to either root for the team that kicked my team's ass, being like, oh well, we lost to this team and they made the Final Four, they were really good, you know what I mean, or root against them out of spite, be like, yeah, get destroyed next round, you know what I mean? Because the way I look at it,
Brown's going to get clapped.
well, the way
that mindset?
yeah, the way I look at it, yeah. Exactly. It's like, if the Mean Green go make the Final Four and Cinderella, I'm like, well, they obviously weren't a 13 seed. They should have been like a 6 seed or so. You know what I
we
mean?
got screwed.
Yeah. But then if they go and get destroyed next round, I'm like, God damn, we suck. You know what I mean?
So,
then
then-
what happened was, real quick, is they had it close like for the whole like first half, and then the second half they just wilted, got destroyed. I was like, God, we suck.
If you want to talk about that logic, then Iowa, like, damn, Oregon didn't even have to play the first round.
I know.
So I'm going to use that logic.
We'll see if
Bullshit.
Oregon gets clapped next round, or if they start.
Iowa should've won.
What
Are you an Iowa fan now?
Well, yeah, when there's a 1.9 million Scoville unit chip on the line,
Yeah, I feel you.
love corn and
But
Iowa.
Griff, I want to hear you say it. They were mean, and they were
They were mean, they were green, man. So.
Hey, one more time.
No. So what I want to talk about though is I
trying to
think
get
they have
clip.
a good future going though, because we had the second youngest team in the tournament. We had like 45% of our scoring was all from freshmen. So I think they'll still be really good. They're bringing every single player back for next year. So theoretically they're going to get better if they're going to
Still
play
talking
longer
about
together.
Purdue?
Yeah, I am.
Where's Purdue even
I'm a
at?
Purdue fan?
They're sitting at home with UC and Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, Zach, you can't talk shit about Purdue sports.
Whoa,
Your team
whoa,
hasn't
whoa,
made a
whoa,
tournament.
whoa, whoa.
How many years?
Indiana
Zach,
is the last undefeated
the
national
last time.
championship.
Oh yeah, you were born.
32-0.
Were you born?
Yes.
No, you
Whoa,
weren't.
whoa, whoa. You can't.
You can't
you're
talk
not gonna
about a
say that after
champion-
Gonzaga does
Yeah.
it.
No,
Listen,
they're not going to do it.
Zach, you
They might
can't
not.
you can't talk about banners if you weren't even born then. You listen,
When was the last time Purdue won?
the last time 1930 something. That's why I don't talk about it.
Alright.
That's why I don't talk about it. You weren't even
1930?
Yeah, but John Wooden was their best player. Listen, Zach, you weren't even born the last time they won a banner, so you can't talk about it. I also want to point out the last time that Indiana made a tournament, you couldn't even legally drink. Think about that. That's a long time ago. That's pretty sad.
Griff, you've been a Cubs fan since 2016. I don't want to hear it.
Listen, Nero, I have not. I have not. You're just mad also because the last time the Reds won a World Series, you weren't even born.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
It's not my fault that my family decided to settle in the worst sports city ever to exist.
That's what I'm just saying. Stop with the Purdue hate. You don't have a leg to stand on. Maybe you guys hire Eric Musselman. I'll get scared, but Anyway, Mean Green.
You know why they
played awesome.
You know why they bolt chairs to the ground?
It's because Bobby Knight is
Exactly.
You know who he was playing against?
Purdue?
Purdue.
Yeah.
That was against Purdue game. He was losing. He threw the chair across the
Well, I hope that they won that game,
They
too.
lost. But I also want to say Mean Green's point guard, he's fucking really good. He was really good. I can't remember his name exactly off the top of my head, but he just kept getting in the lane and throwing up floaters. Like, literally, they showed a stat. He leads the entire country in points off floaters. He would get in the lane and just, boop, one hand up over our center's head and just swish it every time. I was like, I was like, just swat it. Like, do something.
I want to know, because that's not like a stat that people keep, I feel like.
Yeah, it's
like
not.
you would have to either just
yeah.
assume that he's the leader because he's the only one that shoots
No,
that
they showed
many
an actual
fucking shots,
stat.
or someone had to dig and watch like tons of other games and figure out how many floaters were shot.
Cherry picking stats.
They keep advanced stats like that now. They just don't display them. You know what I mean? So stuff like that, like they keep like behind the books. You know what I mean? So like if he scored 3 buckets off floaters, right? That's 6 points. So let's add that to a tally. So they keep off the wall stats like that now too. Because like for James Harden, they had a stat for how many dribbles he took in a single game. Like they count how many dribbles.
I hate statistics. Dude.
I know. But
How do you count that?
every
With
time
a
he bounces
pitch
the
count?
ball?
Like they have a person
Probably.
that does it? Or
Probably.
they have a system that does it?
Probably a system or a person. I'm not
system.
sure. Nowadays, they probably have some type of system that can sense whenever he's
Reminds me of
dribbling.
like high school.
Yeah.
Bounce, bounce, bounce,
Yeah.
bounce, bounce, shot.
Yeah.
Bounce, bounce, pass. You remember that? The student section?
Yeah, but then in actual numbers, like 120 something points off floaters this year, and I was like, God, just swat it, just swat it. So it's frustrating. My team lost. They left me heartbroken again. So yeah,
That's what the tournament does, man. There's only one team goes home a winner. 63 go home loser. No,
sucks. Heartbreaking.
67?
Oh, yeah. Because there's 68 with the plan.
67 go home losers.
Yep.
It just creates a world of fucking losers.
There were some awesome games though. I don't know
What
if
if
you
each
guys.
loser had to eat a chip?
But, oh, ew. Dude, I'll be making a lot of money because those ain't cheap.
I don't know if you guys watched. Did you guys watch the Arkansas Texas Tech game? Because that was a good ass game.
I did not.
Like it was like just back and forth, like 3-pointer, 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 3-pointer. At the end, Arkansas pulled away and won, but it was like a fucking awesome game. I was sitting here watching, and I was like losing my mind. So I was like, oh, that's an awesome 3. They just took like a 5-point lead. The other team goes out and drains it. It was like, oh, it's back to 2. Oh, it's back to 5. Oh, it's back to 2. Oh, it's back to 5. Like back and forth. It was awesome. It was the battle between the future Indiana head coaches, whoever they want to hire, Chris Beard or Eric Musselman. But they were just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was a freaking sweet game. It was freaking sweet, and I just love March games like that, where it's just like. You throw records out the window, right? It's just whoever like wants it more at the end of the game, and those are awesome. That's what March Madness is about.
Houston wants some more.
Houston wanted it more over Rutgers. They did. Rutgers played very. Did you watch the end of that game? How like soft
the whole
Rutgers
game.
played?
Nervous as shit.
Rutgers played so conservative at the end of that game. They screwed them. They were playing so slow.
They should have won that game, dude. I was telling Jake earlier that they were
They
stalling
screwed
for the
themselves over.
Yeah,
They did.
They started stalling at like
did they-
2:45.
They need to play to win, right?
Yeah.
It was like a 5-point game.
Yeah,
They started stalling at 2:45.
They played to not lose. They didn't play to win. I agree. They didn't run the normal offense, and they finally got in their normal offense. They got a good shot and just missed it. And then that big guy also like missed a layup too off putback, which kind of sucked. But yeah, it was crazy. Actually, Houston almost choked himself too. They missed like 4 straight free throws. That one dude, and he was a good free throw shooter. He missed like 4 straight.
Yeah, but one they rebounded and kicked it out for a
Yeah, you're
three.
right. So, yeah.
you can't really count that.
Yeah, so
because they actually got more points.
I think the one play I pointed out to you the other day, Jake, but they had that 5-point swing where they missed. They threw an alley oop to their center.
Yeah.
And their center blew the dunk, and it rebounded, long rebound right out to the Houston guy who ran up and shot a 3 and drained. That's like a straight up 5-point swing right there, and that was killer for him too. So it was a really good game though. Like they made an awesome comeback. Those are the type of games that Houston wins those games. Like, okay, that's good. They won that game because that proves that they're not just gonna play against Gonzaga or someone, right? And go down 10, 15 points real quick and be like, oh, we suck. We're losing, right? If you can come back from games like that, it's got to do a lot for your mental being like, look,
I
we
feel
can
like
go
that's
down
kind
and
of
come
what
back.
Iowa did.
They
I feel like
gave up.
they got scared.
Yeah.
And they just kind of like, you could see all their body language was like
Yeah.
slow and they weren't fighting for all the rebounds. But I don't know. That's just the talking head.
Yeah,
Me.
I can see that.
You were talking head?
I'm a talking head.
Oh,
All right, so
I think, how long till we're considered talking heads?
I'd probably give it like a year.
Okay.
all right,
Maybe
so,
get a respectable interview. Maybe then we can.
all right. So before we end March Madness, what I want to say is I want you guys to pick one team that you'd be like, yeah, it'd be pretty cool if they won it, and you can't pick. Obviously, Jake, you can't pick Houston just because you don't do it related to the challenge. If there's any other team in there, you'd be like, yeah, it'd be pretty cool if they won. For me, it's Loyola. I think it'd be awesome if Loyola won it all. You know what I mean?
I told you Loyola was frauds.
Yeah.
So I kind of can't pick Loyola.
Yeah. Is there any other team that if you had to eat the chip, right, and say Houston lost, you'd be like, I'm all right with them winning it?
Nope.
UCLA?
Yeah, definitely not UCLA. No.
Come on, there's
Get
gotta be
Mick
one
Cronin
team.
out of here.
There's gotta be one team. Ohio?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think they're getting clapped right now, like as we speak.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know.
Or Roberts.
I'll
Yeah, or Roberts.
Yeah, but they're on the same side as Houston, so I can't.
That's what I'm saying. If Houston were to lose, like what was the
I can't.
Zach?
I'm
What
gonna
about you?
pick Chicago.
Loyola?
Yeah, Loyal.
I love that Cameron Crutwood kid. Looks like Farva. Mustache, gap teeth. He looks like he should play in the YMCA league. He's
Anyways,
awesome.
I want to pick a bone with the people out there. And I have to hear all the time about how good somebody's bracket is. Like, look at this bracket, dude. It's so good. It's so much better than your bracket. But you know that if they just scroll back one little slide, there's like 70 brackets that they made. And they're just showing you that one good bracket that they made. And I think it is absolute bullshit. They should limit the amount of brackets you can make. Because I'm tired of hearing about people talking about their good brackets.
Well, yeah, everybody has a good bracket.
If you make 15 of them,
know.
one of them's going to be good. At
one's
least
bound to be
better
good.
than my one, right?
I have-
Statistically.
I have one that has Gonzaga winning, and I'm like, how can I switch it out real quick?
See? So I'm
I
tired of
get
hearing
you.
about people talking about their one bracket that's doing good. And I know for a fact they have more than one.
That's why we limited it to one bracket.
I mean, it's the same with fantasy football. You know, people in our league that they're just like 2-6, and they're like, "Dude, your team sucks." And I'm, yeah, but this other league, I'm like, fuck you. Yeah, Griffin's an other league guy.
Yeah,
I have 6 fantasy leagues,
yeah,
dude.
but you get your shit kicked in our league.
I won 2 out of 6 this year, though. How many fantasy leagues you win?
Well, I was only
None.
in one, and I
None.
lost. I was
One.
better than your team.
That's a 0 win percentage.
a trophy for fantasy football.
You still
I'm
lost to
gonna
me,
throw it on the
Jake.
table.
In
I had a
fantasy
better,
football.
what a better winning.
I know, that's embarrassing, though. My team was bad and you lost to me.
Griff's, though, I got 6 fantasy league.
I know, it
guys.
sucks. It stresses me out.
Dude, speaking of fantasy football, Andy Dalton named the starter in Chicago. How do we feel about that?
Andy Dalton is a starter?
Good for the Bears.
I
They're going to
don't-
fix all their problems. Andy Dalton's going to fix them.
I don't know. The way he came out and performed at with the Cowboys, I don't see him doing anything
Okay, he's
better
not
with
gonna
the
do
Bears.
good.
I'm not.
They have no all-line.
For one, the
hold
Bears,
on.
I feel
No,
like
no.
set teams up or players up for failures.
No, they do.
Anyway.
Well, real quick before you say that, is like he's not mobile, right? He never really was mobile. He was like able to evade sacks when he was younger. But like we pretty much saw when the Cowboys O-line was hurt, like how bad it was for the Cowboys last year. He was just getting sacked left and right. He couldn't do anything. The Bears have a worse offensive line than the Cowboys do. Their offensive line is terrible, and they lost their best offensive lineman. It's going to be a nightmare. He's going to get sacked like crazy. Like
agree with
they're going to
Griff.
be sacking him like crazy. He's not going to be able to do anything. It's not going to be his fault. I mean, his talent's obviously not there anymore, but he's going to have no time to throw. So he's going to throw a bunch of picks or get sacked. Those are going to be his 2 options.
So I agree with that. But I think that Chicago has a better defense than what Dallas did last year.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
And
so, I mean, he just has to perform acceptably.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
is like
to win.
So he's going to have
he
more
just has
chances to get sacked.
He just has to hang in there, and hopefully that the defense holds them.
Right.
And I think that it'll prove. I don't think he's a Cam Newton type of guy. Don't think that I'm saying that.
What I'm saying is it's not even an upgrade over Mitchell Trubisky. I'd rather have Mitchell Trubisky than Andy Dalton right now.
I don't know.
I'd rather have a
100%.
veteran.
The only thing wrong
No way.
with Mitchell
No way.
is that he's proven himself to not be good.
Yeah,
Like,
Andy
there's
Dalton
enough-
proved himself to
he's
not
been-
be good last year.
He's been not
But
with the
that's just because
Bears.
Dallas had a terrible team, like all
No,
around.
they didn't.
Yeah,
Their
no,
offense
dude.
is loaded. Their offensive line was
They
bad.
got fucked, dude.
Their offense is freaking loaded, Zach.
He was not.
They have
set up
so
for
many good players on
success at
offense.
Cowboys.
No, you can't argue that.
They are.
You can't
Dude,
argue
you're
that.
high right now.
You cannot argue
Their defense
that.
is terrible. Their
That was
offensive
not,
line was
that
hurt.
was not all on Andy Dalton, though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
No, that's what I'm saying. The offensive line was bad, but even the games when they were played had a good offensive line, he didn't play well. When the
I know
offensive
that's
line
what I'm
wasn't
saying.
hurt.
All around, the Cowboys had a bad team last year.
Yes.
At least he's going into an upgrade.
The Bears' offense is dog shit. They were terrible. He's gonna have no one to throw to.
okay.
Allen Robinson's not even on the team right now. He's their best player on offense.
Yeah, he signed the franchise tag.
Oh, he's not gonna play though. He's like holding out essentially.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Dude, literally, like he's not gonna do good. Like Mitchell Trubisky would do better in this offense. The fact that he can run away from the sacks. That's the point I'm making. I don't think Mitchell Trubisky's good. I think Andy Dalton at his peak was like miles ahead of Mitchell Trubisky.
But what I'm saying is that you have to make it change. Like,
No,
how
I
long
get
can you
that.
stick with Mitchell Trubisky?
No, I understand making
before
the change.
showing that you're making a change.
But
at least.
He's not even on the Bears anymore.
Right.
He's a backup for the Bills.
I understand that. You definitely had to make a change for Mitchell Trubisky, but then there's tons of Bear fans that are so upset because they're literally like, all right, yeah, we're going to move on from Mitchell Trubisky. There's all the rumors about Russell Wilson, obviously, and there's rumors that they might go for Deshaun Watson. We'll keep Deshaun Watson talk out of this episode, though. But and then they go and sign Andy Dalton, and one of the Bears fans said, you literally, like, made me a turd sandwich 4 years ago when you drafted this guy, forced me to eat it, threw it away, and now you gave me another one. Yeah,
but
that's literally
it's not
what you
like
did.
they signed
come
Andy
on,
Dalton
dude.
long term. It's 1 year.
Don't treat Andy like that.
And he's not even.
I'm sorry, but Andy Dalton's like not a good quarterback anymore.
I disagree, and I'm not just saying
think
that
he did
because
bad.
he's a homer. I think that.
Yeah, I think you're homering a little bit.
No, I just think that the Cowboys set him up for failure. And
I think
don't-
you're
I don't-
homering in the reverse.
Right.
He played bad for the Cowboys, so
did.
you're a reverse homer. You're rooting against the guy.
I love Andy
He
Dalton.
played pretty good for the Bengals.
I was so optimistic when Andy Dalton
I
came
mean,
in.
even the years he
and
left,
just
he
let
wasn't
me
that
down.
bad.
Huh?
Even the years like the end of his career at the
He wasn't
Bengals,
bad. They just had a trash team.
I agree with that.
in Cincinnati.
So you think going from a team with a really good offense, with a bad offensive line, right? They had a terrible defense. Going to a team with a miles worse offense, a way
All I'm
better
saying
defense,
is if I'm
and a
the
worse
Bears-
offensive line, he's going to do better. He's
How can
not.
you say that Dallas had a good offense? Zeke did not perform well.
Yep.
Dalton did not perform well. They had a bad offensive
So then
line.
why were they leading the league in points
Cooper-
per game?
Amari Cooper was
Why were
their
they leading the
only
league in points per game when Dak was there?
Amari
Then Dak
Cooper.
goes out. Then Andy Dalton
because
comes
of
in.
what
and they
you said. They have no offensive line, so
offensive
Dak's
line was
running
hurt while
around
Dak was
throwing.
there.
I know that's what I'm saying. The offensive
There
line.
you go.
Would you let me finish? Dak was literally heaving up balls down the field. You even said that before. I can go back and clip it.
So why didn't Andy Dalton do
That's
that?
why. Because, like we just said, he's not mobile, but it was not all on Andy Dalton.
I don't think it was either.
I don't see how you can say that Dallas had a great offense last year.
They did. Their offense is loaded.
They had Amari Cooper. That was all they had.
No. So you look at the stats, Zeke, pre-injury, he had good rushing stats. The only problem was he was fumbling. That was the only issue he had. Then you look
And
at
that's turnovers.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
it's
understand.
pretty bad.
But
Fumbles
listen,
are pretty bad.
But he had good stats. His rushing yards were good, and he's
It wasn't last year.
Pre-injury, pre-Dak injury, he was. He played good. Then Dak got hurt, and his numbers went down because they couldn't throw the ball. I don't think Andy Dalton's bad. It wasn't all Andy Dalton. The issue was their offensive line got hurt, and their defense was really bad. But with the offense that he had, he should have done better, is my opinion. Now, what I'm saying is if he did that bad, if he had that bad of a year with that offense and that bad of an offensive line, why does he go to a worse offensive line with worse offensive players and you think he's going to have a better season just because the defense plays better? That's just going to give him more chances on offense to, again, be serviceable, which I agree. That's all he has to do is be serviceable with
That's all
that
I'm
defense.
saying.
But I don't think he can even be serviceable with that terrible offense they have out
I
there.
think their coach might not be as dumb.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would say that he even got an upgrade in coaching.
Listen,
His coach might not be as
it is
dumb.
100% an upgrade, but it is the smallest upgrade I've ever seen.
I agree with that.
Matt Nagy is an idiot. Matt Nagy is so dumb. He's not quite Mike McCarthy dumb. But, like, there's like different types of dumb. Mike McCarthy dumb is he's just like a bumbling idiot, right? Like he's like the guy you see on the Three Stooges. What's his name? Curly that walks around making all the funny noises like that. That's Mike McCarthy dumb. Matt Nagy dumb is like Zach Galifianakis from The Hangover dumb, where he's sitting there like reading all the little numbers in front of his face, the cards, and then he does the play and it's a miserable, terrible call. And he's like, oh, well, that should have worked. It worked in practice.
This should tell you something. Mike McCarthy had Aaron Rodgers for how many years and only won one Super Bowl?
I know, that's what I said. It's terrible. He's a bad coach. I was really mad when they hired him. I talked myself into him, and it was a bad mistake. What I'm saying, the last thing I'll say is I just don't see him having any remotely good of a season with that terrible team. And it's not the defense's fault because the defenses should be really, really good again. Even though they lost their best cornerback, but they still should be good because they have really good players all around, right? Roquan Smith, Khalil Mack. They got something Johnson. I can't remember. Jalen Johnson maybe. Their DB. They got a good team. Eddie Jackson too. But just their offense is like miles below like the rest of that division. Like their offense is like not much better than the Lions' offense right now, which is really bad. You know what I mean? I just don't see him being able to have a good season with that offense they put around him, especially if Allen Robinson doesn't play. I think they're just screwed. They lost their best offensive lineman too. So I just think it's going to be more of the same thing you saw with the Cowboys. He's just going to be running for his life and getting sacked. Or he's going to be like throwing off his back foot about to get sacked and throw a pick. That's basically all it was
I
with the
agree
Cowboys.
with you. My only take is that if I'm a Bears fan, I'm happy they got rid of Mitch because he's not there's no point in letting him play another one and having the same performance over and over and over.
Yeah, I understand that because I agree with that because the Bears fans.
I don't think Andy's going to be the solution.
Yeah, because there was a bunch of Bears fans I saw on Twitter, and they were basically so happy when they said, "Yep, we're moving on from Mitch." And and I think the problem was that the Bears were trying really hard to get Russell Wilson, and they sent offers, and then the Seahawks just said no. And then they just said, "All right, we'll just get Andy Dalton."
Well, the good thing with Andy Dalton is that he only has a 1-year contract up to $10 million. I did hear talks that they were talking Nick Foles with the Eagles again, sending him back for the third time.
I heard about that. I think Jalen Hurts is going to start for him, though.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think Jalen Hurts will start for him.
I think they should at least give him a chance. Day one starter, that's all. Like week one starter, and then see how he goes from there. Like I would name him week one starter, and then see how he performs, and then go from there.
I can agree with that. Yeah, I don't think the Eagles are going to draft someone. They might trade up and draft someone at QB, or take whoever's available. But I think they're going to stick with Jalen Hurts for now. Like I said, it's not very often you get a pick in the top 8 picks. So that's when you have the capital to be able to trade up and get a top whatever pick if you want for a quarterback. So we shall see.
We shall. I was telling Griff before the podcast with the Bengals getting rid of John Ross and AJ Green. I wouldn't be too mad if they went and got Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I don't know if I would.
Because they signed a veteran tackle, and then they had that first-round tackle from a few years ago, Jonah Williams. So, the only reason to get Sewell, or however you say it, is to get depth.
Their first-round pick's going to be a bust.
He's going to get hurt.
He's going to get hurt.
Unfortunately.
Their past 6 first-round picks have been hurt.
Yeah, it sucks.
Which is bullshit. You should,
you guys need better trainers.
It should have to be disclosed. I know it's supposed to be, but come on.
Yeah.
Come on. The past 6 years, they got injured.
Like John Ross. John Ross
was hurt.
He's been injured
when they
for his whole career.
Yeah. There's been other times.
It's crazy as he ran that 40 time always hurt.
I feel like, I don't know. I think that's bullshit, is that you draft someone that high.
No, I agree.
They say, oh, yeah, I'll sign, but I'm injured.
Yeah. By the way, I got a torn hamstring right now.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they definitely need to take Sewell. He's there. They got to take Sewell. That's just my opinion. You literally saw what happened without him the whole last year, right? Without a good offensive line. Mm-hmm. They signed Riley Reif, who is older, but he's still good. He should still be definitely an upgrade.
Well,
Anything
the
better
problem
than Bobby Hart
is that, what is it?
They released Bobby Hart.
The Dolphins picked up the wide receiver, so they're going to go for Sewell.
That's what I'm saying. If Sewell's gone, then I can say, all right, pick Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts even, something like that. The reason, in my opinion, that I would go for Kyle Pitts over Jamar Chase is the fact that you already have 2 really good receivers. With T. Higgins, I think he's going to be a stud. We already talked about this last week, and then obviously Tyler Boyd is probably the best receiver on the team right now. You lost AJ Green and John Ross, but they didn't really do much for the team last year. That's the way I look at it. Alden Tate was better than both of them last year, so I'm fine with that. I'd go for a tight end, which you guys actually need a tight end. You need if you had a dominant tight end with that. Uzama's not a dominant tight end. He's got a sweet mustache, and I'll give him that. But
a Tyler Eifert guy.
Yeah, but
this is way different than Tyler Eifert though. This guy's the same size as Tyler Eifert, but is probably way faster. He ran a 4.46 40 today, which is insane at 6'5".
Burrow is nudging him to get Chase though.
He probably is.
Because
if he's there, yeah. Because they have the chemistry. That's the good thing. That's what people were saying. Take Burrow. They're just going to have the chemistry back, which I can understand that. But I don't
think it'll be the same. I think in their minds it's going to throw back to college, and he's just going to be throwing deep balls all day long, and he's going to be wide open, and so it's not going to work.
Chase Young comes off the edge.
Yeah. The way I look at it right now, if Sewell's gone and it's down to Chase or Pitts, the video game simulation takes Pitts every time, but the Bengals take Chase just because they're nudging them we can get that connection back, right? But the video game's this is the smart pick. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I'm picking the Washington football team out of your division.
Think so?
I think so. I think their defense is solid. Yeah, they picked up.
So they're a team.
William Jackson, is that who they got?
Yeah, William Jackson from the Bengals. So they're a team that you were just talking about. They're way better than the Bears for your analogy you're using, where they just have to have a serviceable QB. If they have a serviceable QB, they should win that division easy. Just the fact their defense is insane, probably top 3 defense in the league going in this year. They might even end up being the best. And then they added Curtis Samuel, and they have Terry McLaurin at their receivers, who are 2 the fastest people in the league, and they're really good receivers. And their running back Antonio Gibson had a great year. So the only issue, I think they re-signed Brandon Scherf too. Actually, maybe not.
Think about this, Greg. Fitzmagic is in Washington, right?
Yeah, so that's going to be 6 games guaranteed that he goes the fuck off.
Right.
Guaranteed 6 games he's going to go off.
He was, he went off, but he was a manageable quarterback at the Dolphins, right? But look how good the Dolphins defense was.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying. Andy Dalton in the Bears system, that's what I'm trying to compare it to.
The Bears defense has fallen off, though, the last 2 years.
But I was going to say, I think Washington trumps the Bears defense.
I agree with that. Yeah, the Washington defense can be really good. It's really scary, honestly. The Cowboys better get their shit together. If the Cowboys offensive line can stay healthy, they can definitely compete in that division. That's the big key for them. Their defense is bad. I've already accepted their defense can be bad this year, even when they draft a cornerback or a D end or a D lineman, whatever they need to get in this draft. I'm rooting for a DB, but their defense is still probably gonna be bad next year, unless they're in a new defensive scheme. So hopefully, because apparently they're going back to the same scheme that they were in 3 years ago when they had the number 2 defense in the league, which blows my mind. Hey, we have the number 3 defense in the league. Let's completely change the defensive scheme. Oh, what do you know? We're bottom 5. It just blows my mind why they did that. So unless that some magically changes their defense, which I don't think it will, I've basically come to terms that Dak has to go the fuck off, and their offensive line can't get hurt, or else we're not going to be able to win the division this year.
Dude,
that's
I think
my opinion.
The Giants in that division, I think they upgraded their offense. If Saquon comes back healthy, and then they got Kenny Golladay.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Then,
they definitely did. Darius Slayton's good too for them.
Not Sam Darnold. That's the other.
They have Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
I just
Daniel
don't trust Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I was going to say
I don't trust him to make the playoffs.
Gonna be the battle of shit teams.
I know, right? The NFC beast.
Who's gonna go 8-8?
The NFC
Who's
beast.
gonna go 8-8?
We are.
I'm not gonna lie. Part of me is just hoping, I don't. If the Cowboys aren't going to win the division, that's fine. But I just hope the Eagles get last. I hate the Eagles. I want the Eagles get dead last.
I would
again.
fear them the least. I think.
Eagles, yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they got a new head coach. Maybe it just ends up being really good. And that's the thing. You hire these young guy coaches.
You want me
never
to
know.
say it on the pod?
What?
I don't fear the Eagles.
Oh, boy.
Win the Super Bowl, baby.
I don't fear the Eagles.
baby. Let them Eagles fly.
You want to bet a pocky on it?
Oh,
If the Eagles go over 8-8, you got to eat a pocky.
dude, that's
I'm
$90
done with my pocky bets from now on. I'm fucking terrified.
That's $90 for 2
I
chips.
think about it when I sleep at night.
I'll say that I think Washington's going to come out of that
So
division.
I think Washington's definitely the best team. That's the only question mark for that division, right? Even if they make the playoffs, I don't think they'll go far. Just the fact that if it's Magic, I don't see them going far in the playoffs. But that's the only question: is their quarterback spot. If they can get above average quarterback play, or average to above average in that range, then they should be able to win the division with the rest of their team. The only thing that's going to hurt them is injuries, or if they have really bad quarterback play. And then the Cowboys is the opposite. They just got to be able to get something out of their defense. If they don't get anything out of their defense or their offensive line, they're fucked. They're just. Dak's going to be running forever. He's probably going to break his leg again because he's going to have no protection. It's going to be terrible. So
this might be a hot take, but I think out of the AFC North, I feel like the Steelers are going to be the worst team in the AFC North.
I sure hope so.
I can see it for sure. I 100% can see it.
They lost some decent guys on their defense. Ben, has fallen off. They brought back
Is that
Juju.
who they plan on being the starter, Ben?
Yeah, as of right now. Steelers fans are pissed.
He did not look good.
No.
Once that last 5-6
I think
games
we all
of the
agreed,
season.
right? He's the worst quarterback in the
man,
division now.
yeah.
I think we all agreed that.
How'd they start 11-0, dude? To this day, I have no idea.
Because
Playing close
they had
games.
young guys on their offense who were
I
decent.
have
They're winning
no
close
idea.
games.
And Mike Tomlin always has a good offensive line. And I feel like that's just, a dummy on a podcast can figure that out.
I think the favorites, I should say favorites, but the favorites to finish last in the division are probably going to be the Bengals or Steelers. So we just got to hope the Bengals can just beat the Steelers. If they can beat the Steelers twice, the Steelers will finish last.
Ryan
kinda
Finley
hope-
beat the Bengals.
That's what I'm saying. If they can beat the Steelers twice this year, right? Then they're gonna they should not finish last in the division.
I kind of hope Lamar doesn't go off like he did his rookie year, or not his rookie year, but the first year he started.
I feel like he's kind of going downhill. I don't know.
If he comes back and starts playing,
he still had a good
at
year
his,
last year, though.
top level, it's such a bad sign for the Bengals.
Yeah. So
It's not good.
He still had a good year last year, but it just was nowhere near his MVP season. So everyone thought he fell off. The one thing I will say is end of the year he played a lot better. Beginning of the year is when he struggled. I think teams started to figure him out a little bit, and they were obviously running the ball less with him. And I think that's what hurt him. But I think towards the end of the year, Harbaugh made some adjustments. They need receivers bad though. They need good receivers.
Yeah.
Because there's rumors that Michael Gallup might go there.
Well, they tried to sign Juju Smith-Schuster.
Shit poopster. Yeah.
So what happened to him, dude? Did Von Bell just knock him silly like his old buddy?
No, he wants to stay with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He wants to stay with Pittsburgh, I guess.
I don't know, dude. I
So
mean,
for those who don't know, the Ravens and the Chiefs offered him higher money to go play for them, and Juju picked to take less money and play for.
I'm for sure going with the Chiefs. A young quarterback, Mahomes, over you don't know who's going to be your quarterback.
He'd be wide receiver 3.
I don't
what he
care
was worried about.
how many Super Bowls you're going to win.
Wide receiver 3. He don't want to be a wide receiver. Juju, bro. He wants to go dance. Well, you're gonna have your wide receiver 3 dancing on the logo.
You know how cheap
You can't have
Corvettes
your
are?
wide receiver 3 dancing on the logo.
You know how
bro.
cheap Corvettes are in Kansas City, dude? Very cheap.
You can't have wide receiver 3 dancing on the logo. You'd have 1 and 2 would have to
don't
be
know.
flying the fucking jets over at the pregame.
He was on the Cowboys. He wide receiver 4.
As much as I hate to say it, Mike Tomlin is a very good head coach, and I feel like the Steelers will always be relevant, even though I just made a hot take saying that they're going to finish last in the AFC North. But I think that with Juju signing, it's good and bad. I would be a little skeptical not knowing who my quarterback was going to be in 5 years. But
I mean, if he goes to Ravens, knowing that Lamar's going to run the ball half the time.
That's true.
That's not what a wide receiver wants.
Right.
And then the Chiefs would be wide receiver 3. That's not what he wants. But they offered him more money, so.
I mean, I feel like more money and 2 good teams offering me more money. I kind of would have went with one of those.
I think I would have went with the Chiefs. Another thing I wanted to bring up, like, I know $1 million, $2 million sounds like a shit ton of money.
It's really not. And
But to Juju, like, that's not life-chinging money at all.
No.
Like, that's just like.
he's like, I can probably make that on TikTok in a couple months.
So the thing with Juju is people pointed out at first is that this is his first contract he signed. So it's not like his rookie deal was like, all right, you're set for life. Some people would say, yeah, you're set for life. You've made like $2 million. But in the terms of what NFL players make, he's not set for life. You know what I mean? Like, compared to some of the contracts they get. Like, he's going to get the big deal that he's never got to work a single day in the rest of his life or whatever. So that's what people were saying. Well, it's weird that he took a $2 million pay cut for that. But that dude's got to make money off YouTube and TikTok. He's on TikTok, got a tons of followers. He's got tons of followers on his YouTube. So he's making money in other ways too. And he's got ads. So he definitely had money before this. So I can understand him taking it. And if you think about it, doesn't have to sell his house. Doesn't have to move. Doesn't, you know what I mean? He just stay where he's at.
I mean, he can collab with Chase Claypool.
Yeah, he can. They love it. They love TikToking, bro.
Bro, he's like, how am I going to collab, dude?
Bro, you want to collab?
Dude, I can't collab if
Who
I'm
am I going to collab with? Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, what? Fucking Patrick Mahomes' brother.
Yeah.
Who am I going to collab with, bro? That ain't going to get me the views, dude.
This Triple J collab, Jackson and JJ.
Jackson Mike, he gets the views, dude.
Dude, Juju could get in a State Farm commercial.
Somehow Jackson always finds a way to go viral.
Oh, dude. And it's that weird dance, dude. It makes me uncomfortable.
I mean, he's just the one went viral of him just dapping up his
him
brother.
up. Yeah, and he's like,
he just dabs him up.
biting his lip.
Dude, he's so tall, too. Have you noticed that?
He's taller than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he's like almost 6'7". So apparently he was like a good high school basketball player, and he's like quit basketball to do TikTok full time.
I mean, when your brother makes $500 million, I'm
But,
sure that
people were saying
he's
that
going to help him out.
he could have like played D2 for sure, and might even been playing some D1 schools. And he's just like, nah, I want to do TikTok, bro.
Well, he came from a rich family, I would assume, with his dad playing in MLB, and then his brother is going to be, the next GOAT in football. So I would probably just try to ride off their wave then.
I feel you. Take the easy way out, Zach? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I would.
I know we're like a little too old, but like, how many people do you follow to have to care about the Chiefs quarterback's brother?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like
ESPN tweets about him,
what a
though.
fucking irrelevant person to
ESPN
even waste a
posted.
follow on.
He just shows up on my Instagram feed, and I send it to you because he's always doing weird shit.
That's funny.
I've never
Yeah, to be fair, I've never seen an actual post from him.
Yeah, that's what I was
I've seen
gonna say.
posts that other people post of him.
yeah.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
So here's a big question then.
It's like a repost.
Picture it this way. We'll say you're a good wide receiver, played your whole career for the Bengals. Bengals offer you $5 million a year to stay. Patriots offer you $10 million a year to go there. What do you do?
Chad Cinco did it.
And so what do you do?
Oh, I leave.
You leave?
I think I'll probably leave.
Yeah, I'd like to think I'd
Just because
stay for my team, but
just the
I'd
difference
probably
of the
leave.
money.
I think
If
I'd,
it was a small difference,
Yeah.
I mean, if it was 500,000, maybe $1 million, I don't know. $1 million's talking, I don't know.
it's a lot of money to talk about. Like you think about $1 million, right?
But then I
It's a lot of
don't.
money.
It's just I can respect someone to stay with their team and stay with the head coach that
So-
they like.
In my head, I'm like, yeah, I'd definitely stay with the
And be
Cowboys. I'm a
loyal.
Cowboys for life, right? We them boys, you know.
Well,
And
most
like,
of them
$5
aren't
million
probably
more
fans.
though a year.
Think
Yeah, I'm
about
probably
most
going to
of them
Patriots.
were fans of other teams growing up.
Yeah, you're right. But then if you play a team for your whole career, though, you know what I mean, you end up having an affinity for that team.
You're a fan of that team.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I don't know.
But I
I'd
mean,
probably
they're,
leave.
they're
I'd
probably
leave.
less attached than we think that they're attached
Yeah, I know what
to
you
the
mean.
name and the logo like us fans are
Yeah, I
in
know
the
what you
city.
mean. I'd probably leave.
I saw something. Hold on, before we move on. Did you see Carson Wentz was live on Pat McAfee's show? Mm-mm. So he went into Pat McAfee's studio, and Carson Wentz asked Patrick Mahomes, or not Mahomes, Pat McAfee, why he was talking trash about him and not wanting to come to the Colts.
Oof. What did Pat say?
He kind of backed out and kind of went around. Yeah, right. Yeah, you know how Pat. He's like, "Wow," and then fixes his glasses, but dude, it was fucking hilarious.
Carson Wentz comes in my studio and comes and talks shit to me, and we have it live on PMS here.
Dude, the Adam Cole thing was fucking funny.
It was I knew it was fake when I first saw it, but it was hilarious. I loved
Yeah.
it. I loved it.
We got
We move on.
drugs.
Drugs. So Cubs minor league prospect busted with 21 pounds of
meth.
methamphetamine and 1.2 pounds of oxycodone pills. 21 pounds, dude.
The life of a minor leaguer, man.
That's crazy.
Minor leaguers don't make enough. You got to have that side hustle.
You know what's weird to me about
His was
things
Kingpin.
like this happen is that like they contact the Cubs organization and it's like, Joe, you got to make a statement on this. He's like, well, we weren't the ones selling the fucking meth, you know? Like, we'll just get rid of the guy. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't know why the Cubs organization is responsible at all for this guy's off the field actions, you know?
Why did he bring it to the stadium?
It's one thing I want to.
Is he like dealing with the fans?
Speaking of the organizations, though, it's one thing if you know, like, someone has a criminal charge and then you give them a contract. But if you give them a contract and then they go do criminal activity, it's like, what are you going to do? Like, it's not the organization's fault.
You're right.
I wonder how long that is. Like, how long in jail? 21 pounds of meth is?
It'll be a while, I feel like.
a felony.
It's trafficking, yeah.
So, at least a year.
Oh, more than that.
Yeah.
We're going to look it up.
Like,
I was thinking like 10, 15 years.
like seriously, like, well,
He's not getting one of them high-class lawyers.
Yeah.
Unless the Cubs are bailing him out.
I mean, like, think about, I wonder what, minor leaguers don't make a lot of money.
No,
But
he ain't getting a nice lawyer unless the Cubs are paying for it.
21 pounds of meth. Them Jesus Camargo.
I was thinking, because that's the big number, but just think about 1.2 pounds of pills. A pill doesn't weigh that much. It's still a lot of pills.
So meth is what, like, think about, like, Breaking Bad, like the Blue Rocks.
So
right?
it says 14.1 ounces. So 16 ounces is 1 pound in that conversion. The minimum prison sentence becomes 25 years.
No way. You get 25
Is it
years
trafficking
for that.
or what does it say?
Yeah, it says drug trafficking.
So, like, I mean, so there's difference between, like, obviously using and
25
trafficking.
years?
I mean, trafficking drugs is like, they take it very seriously.
Let me see if I
Like,
can
if
find a
you're-
more credible source.
Trafficking drugs, that's bad. Bad
25
look for
years.
Jesus Camargo. On the bright side, the Cubs won that game. So,
Did he play?
no.
So what? I mean, he's out on
I
bail
think he got
now.
caught. I think they like came and arrested him like at spring training. I would have been
That'd
there.
be me as an owner.
Dude, I would have been there.
He's out on bail. Just put him in the lineup.
Dude, I would have been there though, Jake. Like this is the week that I met. Like this past week, it was on the weekend. I would have been
You
at
could
spring
have bought
training
methamphathime
from Jesus
it.
Camargo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be there. COVID wasn't
Dude,
a bitch.
imagine that. You could have probably sold that in 10 years for triple the cost. Like this is the meth that got him locked up.
I don't know.
Who's that guy?
I don't trust 25 years, but we'll figure it out from
I mean, it's a lot.
Somebody that
I
we
could
know.
believe
Love
it,
it to let us know.
But
Why would you name drop him?
He's fine. He says his name a million times more.
All right.
Loyal listener.
if you can find Ludwig and take a picture of him, send him to us.
Did you guys get any Garrett pictures?
No, I did not. Nobody found Garrett.
Where's Garrett?
But
So, I see this in your notes here, but before you go to the longest bat in MLB history, I've been to the longest baseball game in Milwaukee Brewers history. It was 18.
in the Milwaukee Brewers history.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was like 18
Whoa.
innings,
When'd you leave?
like the 11th.
That doesn't count.
I went to a bar and watched it.
I drove past it while it was going on.
I was there. I have a ticket stub.
Bro, I was at Tin Roof outside Great
That's a-
America
how
the day
long-
the Reds played 15 innings, I swear.
18 innings?
I think it was 18 innings.
I wonder how long that was. 6 hours?
It was long.
5 hours?
Longest Brewers game.
I mean, it's the Brewers stat, though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
22 pitches, though. That's nuts.
So, last week, the longest at-bat in MLB history happened. This is 22 pitches that finally ended in a walk. For one, the pitcher was Jordan Hicks. Batter was Guillorme. Dude, how pissed would you be if you wasted 22 pitches just to walk him?
And they don't let Jordan Hicks pitch long. He throws too
like
hard.
9, you just hit him in the back. You say, fuck this guy, dude. He's pissing me off. Like, he should have thrown at him at least after 12.
Yeah, I feel
22 pitches and he's still trying to strike him out? Come on, Jordan Hicks. Come on. But that's absolutely insane. The whole bench for the Mets was just like getting up, getting fucking stoked, flexing, and yo!
Polar Bear was going nuts.
The polar bear was all about it, dude. They had the fans standing up and everything. Like, it was insane.
It was 18 innings,
Yeah,
18
that's
innings?
crazy.
and it was the longest in Miller Park history.
Ew, they won too. Ew.
Yeah,
Ew, I hate to see that.
it was cool. Their stadium's cool though.
Their stadium is cool with the slide.
Explain this bat skins.
I think they changed the name of it.
I thought it was Miller.
I think they're changing it.
Why?
I don't know.
I think Miller's not sponsoring them anymore.
The Pabst Blue Ribbon.
I don't think it's going to be beer. I don't know what it's going to be. Probably going to be some bank.
It'll
We need
definitely
a
be beer.
we need a
Bank
cheap,
of US.
cheap MLB team. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
So, anyways, I've seen online that a couple of the stars of baseball are hashtagging "Let the Kids Play," and they are using MLB The Show skins in real life. They're trying to get this legal, which would be cool.
Yeah. Well, because thinking about the home run derby that Bryce Harper won that one year, remember? He had like the American flag bat, or no, he had the star, like the blue stars and stripes on it or whatever, because it was in Washington. And that was a cool bat. He
was
won a
cool.
home run derby with it.
Yeah. So they're trying to get this pushed, and I don't think it will ever happen.
No chance.
No chance
MLB
it'll
hates
happen.
fun.
But it's super cool. I saw Bryce Harper with one that had the green Phillies guy on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Philly fanatic.
So there's some cool ones. I think it'd be super fun. At least on Players Weekend, let it slide. Come on.
out.
Like,
So,
what's it gonna hurt if you do that on Players Weekend?
I just put 2 and 2 together. I was thinking of like how you play golf skins, like side bets. I thought that's what you were talking about. Like what the fuck?
Well,
like, where did this come
you've
from?
never played MLB The Show, but you can do an
No,
MLB The
I got-
Show.
I got
where
what you mean, though.
You can buy like a designed bat, I guess. Well, the way I've seen it do in real life is they use some kind of spray paint looking thing that's supposed to not affect the texture, so they can't.
sure.
Put something on the bat to give it more backspin
Yeah.
for more homers, which I guess would theoretically be another cheating scandal in the
It's
future.
all about the launch angle.
Yep.
If they could somehow put more backspin on their fly balls with the bat, I don't know. Probably more bad could come out of this than good, but it would be awesome.
I mean, if it was like the
Players
whole
Weekend.
the pine tar thing, to where it like had to be below a certain limit, I'd go for it. That'd be cool.
Well, the way these skins work is they're the top half of the bat, not the handle part of the bat.
It's the barrel, yeah.
Well, like with the paint thing, that's what I was saying.
So,
Like,
I mean, think about aluminum bats. They've had paint on it forever.
Yeah.
You ever seen a plain, like, you're thinking from the 60s, if you see just a plain steel aluminum looking bat with no decals
name
on it?
one little leaguer that's jacking 30,
I know.
40 home runs a year.
I don't think for a second that the MLB is going to let them do this or anything like
Yeah.
remotely close to this. The way I look at it, the MLB, like a verbal meme here, the MLB, it's like the picture of the dude from the Matrix, Morpheus, when he has the 2 pills. You can take which other pill and you live a different life. One pill is like grow the game, make it more watchable for everyone, and it'll make it way better and more serviceable to young people. The other one is like keep getting dunked on by the NFL and MLB or NFL and NBA. And it's like, which one do you want to take? And the MLB just keeps taking I just want to keep getting dunked on by the NFL. Fuck fun. We don't like fun.
I think what's awesome is Players Weekend is when they mic the players up.
Yeah, mic'd up.
I mean, think about your job. If you are MLB, you're not the player. You're MLB and you're leading this. Your job is basically to run an entertainment business.
Yeah.
What's entertaining? Let us fucking get to know these players.
I thoroughly agree.
Especially in games that aren't, I mean, they're all important, but 162, they're not that important.
But you got to think that could only be the outfielders that they can mic up.
Yeah.
Do you think
Well,
the
why
infield
can't
would?
they mic up the
No,
infielder?
they've done
Well, because-
infielders. Brian Dozier's done it
No,
before.
hold on. Because then they would like the infielders have more of a focus mechanism in the game. Like you think they want to be talking to
they
somebody?
don't.
Then the outfield?
Yes.
They've 100% mic'd up infielders for in spring training. They do it all the time.
Oh yeah, that's spring training. Those games
So
don't really
they-
matter.
They can mic up whoever they want. The only one I could see them not micing up is a pitcher. That's the only one I could be like, yeah.
They hit the ball
pitcher.
to outfielders as much as they hit the
I
ball
know.
to infielders.
Yeah, I could.
That's where you're wrong.
I could see them mic up every
where
single
you're wrong.
person except for maybe the pitcher or catcher, just because they're like on they're like calling the game.
Think about
essentially.
on the infield how much stuff you have to be thinking of. Like, okay, if there's a bunt, like what coverage do we have to go? Like, what are you doing?
They've been playing for
No.
so long. That's fucking
They'll
in
be
the
fine.
back of their head.
No.
Yeah.
You think I was in
I think-
outfield thinking about what base I have to back up? No, it's obvious. It's common sense by the time you get to that point.
I played infield, and I'll tell you right
They
now
played
that
shortstop for how many years? You don't think they know where to
I
go when
was a
someone
catcher.
bunts it?
I know damn well
You
what
played
the infield.
freshman baseball.
Well, I
They
still
didn't know what
played.
the fuck
right
they were
now.
doing
I
out
still
there.
played for
I'll
like
tell you
12
right now,
years. I
when
know that the infield
when I
has
played-
more responsibility than what the outfield does.
When I
There's
played-
no way.
Pieces
There's
here?
no way
Oh,
that the
shit. I was supposed
MLB.
to cover second.
There's no
Oh.
way that the MLB is
Sorry.
going to let them
Zach, I'm
have them
sorry.
have their fucking people
Zach, you're-
mic'd up.
I'm
And
telling
no,
you, you're
no,
wrong-
it's not going to
you're
happen.
wrong on this
No,
take.
I'm not.
When I was in the infield, I would be sitting there at second base, looking around, looking at the hot chick walking by the dugout, the other team's dugout. I hear the crack at the back. Oh shit, my ball! And I ground it, throw it to first base.
Yeah, we're also not playing for millions of dollars.
I know, but what I'm saying is, you're wrong. literally,
No, they're not going to let
they can mic up
millionaires.
anyone on the field except for the pitcher and catcher.
They're not going to let
you out, I don't think they're
millionaires
good.
in the infield do that. They're not. That's just the
100%
dumbest
would.
thing I've ever heard.
They've done it tons of times in spring training.
Yeah, that's spring training. It doesn't matter.
I would agree to you
So
if you
what?
just said the catcher is more into the game than an outfielder or infielder.
Yeah.
But an outfielder is not less into the game than an infielder.
I would disagree with that.
So
but let's go.
why by their logic would they say, hey, we'll let you outfielders do it, but the infielders are off limits because they're more important to the game. Like they have to pay attention to the balls coming, right?
Because
you guys don't have to. You guys can sit there and go over your head.
No, because the outfielders have more time to react than infielders do. So if they're talking to somebody, they're like, oh, shit, let me go get this real quick. You have, a second and a half by the time the ball goes to the shortstop to think, okay, I need to turn two, or I need to hit this coverage. There's a bunt coming.
They're not talking to him like 24/7. They be quiet when
the
the
way
match comes.
baseball works is
you guys have a terrible take. You guys honestly have the worst take I've ever heard.
It's not like you get surprised, like the ball just automatically gets put on a tee and then the batter hits it. Like you get a whole wind up with the pitcher.
Well, have you watched
You
it
know
too?
when the pitch is coming. You're not going to forget the pitch is coming.
They aren't asking him questions mid-pitch. They literally ask him a question. The guy also, it's up to him if he wants to talk or not. Like they're not going to be like mid wind up. So Brian Dozier, what'd you have for dinner last night, dude? It's like literally like they're winding up the pitch.
What do they do
quiet.
in between pitches? They look at that stupid index card that's in their hat.
Yeah, and that's when they talk.
And that's when they need to know where to go and what position to be in, what shift that they need to go in.
Exactly. I think you're overreacting. I think you're mildly understating how elite these athletes are. That you think that having an earpiece on them is going to make them
Let's go to the rule changes.
But no, because what I want to talk about real quick though. I think I don't think they could do it for every game. I think every game would obviously be too much. But they definitely do what the NFL does. It's just NFL mic'd up, where they have the field mics. They catch all the certain people that would be like mic'd up for a game. They aren't asking them questions in the game.
That would be fun.
They're literally just at the end of the year they show their best mic'd up, funniest moments. Like, you know what I mean? That'd be hilarious.
I'm all for that.
I don't know why they don't do that. That'd be awesome. But yeah, so we'll go to the next one. But any player can definitely mic'd up and talk to, just not the pitcher and catcher.
I agree with Griff. Moving on. So this year, the MLB is doing some rule changes with the minor leagues. There's actually rule changes in place for last year at the minor leagues, but the minor leagues didn't happen because of coronavirus. This year, they're on pace to start the minor leagues, and they got some rule changes, and we're going to go over them. These do not affect MLB as of now, but assuming that they're putting them into the minor leagues to maybe future implement them into the major leagues, I think is warrant for us to talk about. We're going to start the first one. So the MLB plans on increasing the size of the base from 15 square inches to 18 square inches. They expect the results of this is that the bases are ever so slightly more together because the bases are fatter, that there will be more stolen bases and also less collisions at first base. And I will go ahead and start on this one, is that I don't think a first baseman ever gets stepped on accident. Ever. I think maybe a collision. But the base size isn't going to affect
I think
that.
it definitely has happened on accident before. But
no. Dude, these are.
I think it.
They're so athletic. You're telling me they cannot step on one corner, one side of the bat?
Imagine if he was mic'd up.
No.
I played.
Listen.
I played baseball for what? 14 fucking years. Never ever stepped on there. And I'm not near. I'm not near an MLB athlete.
You don't think out of all the close groundouts in the history of the MLB that
they
not
step
one
on
guy
on purpose.
has stepped on accident on him or ran to his foot on accident?
Not on the first baseman.
Time.
Not on the first baseman.
I think
there's no way, dude.
Just
They're just running. They know how to run. They're fucking pro athletes.
I agree with you that like 99.9% of them are all on purpose. Like it's pretty obvious. Like Manny Machado's the worst at it. He's spiked so many people at first base, and I 100% agree with that. But I just logistically like the odds of a single person not doing
maybe
it.
One.
That's what I'm saying. Like
right, maybe one.
So well, you said it's never happened. Like it's got to have happened at least once or twice. 100%.
But maybe.
I'm agreeing with you.
I would say, majority of this is not an issue with the base size. It's an issue with the players literally wanting to step on it.
100%. I agree with that. I just say that it's never happened at a single time in the history of baseball's been a sport.
Word game.
That's what you said. You said it's never happened before. It had to have.
Word game.
Listen,
I can see the percentage of stolen bases going up. So I see the idea of how they think that it can go up. Let me word it that way.
Okay, yeah. When I want to think about this, is the way they explain it is that the bases are closer together, but they're going up 3 square inches, so that's an inch and a half and an inch and a half. So that's the bases are literally 3 inches closer
3
together.
inches, sorry. Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's such a small difference. What I think the actual big difference is that all the tags get played in super slow-mo and reviewed nowadays. And with the bags being bigger, it's going to be easier to avoid tags.
Well, think about the mitt thing that a lot of players wear so they don't jam their fingers. Like that gives them an extra couple inches. And think about, like you said, they have to slow
Just get
down.
one that's like 7 inches long. Extendo arm. It's got like a button on it. It goes
Like tags are
Inspector
so
Gadget.
close on like the throwdown that I mean I think that I could see how it could go up.
I
I
can see it going up.
It's gonna be a small percentage, but
I think it'll go up a little small percentage.
over an
but I don't think
entire
it's gonna-
course of a year, I
yeah.
can see it increasing.
I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference, though, as far as like changing the game. Oh, you got to steal bases now. We got an extra 3 inches. You know what I mean? So, but I
Since
think
we're
it'll definitely go
talking
up a little bit.
about stolen bases, we'll go ahead and go to the next one that will increase stolen bases, and that is a pitcher must step off the rubber to pick off a player. And I was misunderstanding this when I was talking to you because I was thinking of a lefty picking off the first base, and they can do the leg lift and just throw straight over there. But what it's saying is a right-hander picks off the first base. They can't do the jump turn.
Mm-hmm.
They have to physically step all the way off the back of the bag and throw over.
Just mean no pickoffs, like ever.
So the reasoning is that the players will be able to get bigger leads because it's going to take, 0.3 seconds longer for them to get picked off because they have to step off the back of the rubber, and there'll be more stolen bases. So that's another rule they're putting in. This one, I mean, I'm kind of fine with it.
Yeah, I feel like it won't change the game that drastically.
Yeah,
They'll adapt.
you wouldn't even notice it.
Yeah.
If they didn't even tell me, like, I guess I'd be like, that guy's got a slow pickoff move. But, like, I wouldn't even think about the rule change.
I think that-
as a fan spectating this game.
I think there's going to be hardly any just like actual pick, not attempts, but just pickoffs and like people actually getting picked off. I think the only ones that will be getting picked off are the ones that literally like made a move to second first and then try to turn back. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just think there's going to be hardly any pickoffs from the pitcher. I think there'll be way more pickoffs from the catchers. You know what I mean? But no, I don't doesn't chafe my ass.
So, Zach, it might be your birthday. The shift restrictions.
Thank the Lord.
Yeah, I'm all for this one.
The
I read
first
it.
half of the season, the shift restrictions is that all infielders must stay on the infield. They cannot back up into the outfield grass. So theoretically, you can still shift 3 on one side, but they have to stay close. So you can't put the second baseman in the outfield.
Way
Like
in
the
outfield.
short right field.
Can't-
Yeah.
Can't
So they
do
all
the
have to
Joey
stay
Gallo.
in. And they said if this is positive, like, I don't know, whatever
Whatever they view as positive.
results that they want to see, if they see those results, then they will put a restriction where the
2 and 2.
2 and 2. The shortstop can't go past second base, and second base can't go past
So
second base.
the only problem I have with the can't go past second base thing, and I don't think it'll be that big of an issue, but I'm just thinking ahead, like, is when there's a guy on second base, you know what I mean? Which sometimes when people are on base, they don't even shift as much anyway, or they do a minor shift, you know. But like when he's like playing the bag, like the shortstop's playing behind the bag, trying to like fake the pickoff and stuff like that, right? Are they going to call me? Oh, you can't do that. You're getting too close to the bag there. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I think the umpire would just make an
Exception.
I don't think they'd call it that strictly.
Yeah,
I think
that's
what-
what I think too.
They wouldn't consider that a shift.
I
right?
I was thinking about that, but I'm thinking it probably won't be that big of a deal. I'm probably just overthinking it.
I
But
think that they're trying to eliminate having 8 guys on one side of the
trying to
field.
eliminate
I agree with
Joey Gallo coming up,
Yeah.
and literally the entire team playing on the right side.
No, I
of the
agree with
field.
that. We'll definitely get rid of that.
But on the other hand, like, why can't you just put your defenders wherever you want?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like, there's a fair territory, and you defend it. You should be able to defend wherever you want to.
Why
defend.
doesn't Joey Gallo learn to bunt down the third base line?
He could easily just bunt down the third base line.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, they should do it more.
Or if he's not good at it, then you go find another player that's better than Joey Gallo at doing it.
I can see that.
Or if you want Joey Gallo to just stand up there and hit dingers over the shift.
I'm interested to see like the results of this because I've been a big fan of ban the shift for a while, but at the same time, I 100% see your argument there. Is like if there's a fair territory and the foul territory, you should be able to put your players wherever you want to try and defend it. You know what I mean? I'm like in between more on it now than I used to be. I used to be like 100% ban the shift. Now I'm probably like 70%
the
ban the
other
shift.
end of it is that, well, this isn't how the game's been played forever because all the statistics and they can see where a player has hit the ball over how many 1,000 at bats.
So you mean to tell me
So
they
it's
want
ruining stats?
So what I'm saying is that before they had these stats, is that the players played normal.
Uh-oh.
Now they're all shifting to the places and causing less.
So you mean to tell me
stats.
that they want to raise the base by 3 square inches, but they won't let players put skins on their bats? Come on.
All right. I think this one's in the air. We'll see how it works. I don't think I'm a big fan of it, but I also don't think I would lose sleep over it if they did ban the shift.
No, I hope that they do.
I think there would be more hits, no doubt.
You know
There
what
would
I
be
would-
more singles.
I would lose
There
sleep.
wouldn't be any more homers. There'd be more singles.
So
keep going.
oh, no, I was gonna go to the next one. So if you got something to say, go ahead and say it.
Well, I was gonna say I lose sleep over the automatic ball strike
That's what I was about
system.
to ask. So what's up with that? So they're
I
gonna
think
get robot
that's
umps?
terrible. Yeah.
Robot umps.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I
know
don't
umps
think they've
suck, but-
clarified how they're going to implement it. If they're going to have an umpire behind home plate that calls it,
They would have
like
to.
it's like signal to him, and he goes, "Huh,"
Yeah.
you know.
They
Well,
would
I'm
just
thinking.
put umps out of business.
I 100% don't like
I'm
it.
thinking about like plays at home. Like you can't have a robot. Like, oh yeah, he was safe.
Yeah, so
like
then you'd think you'd have a home plate
yeah,
umpire.
that's what I'm thinking.
Or a
But he
home
just
plate
wouldn't be
call.
calling balls and strikes. He would just be like the outfield or the
I was thinking
infield umps.
they'd have the Astros buzzer on him.
Yeah.
And he'd get buzzed for a strike.
Yeah.
So have you ever heard how they wanted to do this? It's
No.
like a whole laser system in the ballpark, like up in the rafters, and it all shines and it makes like the square that you see on TV.
Yeah, I've seen
but it'll
players
be like that.
complaining about. I guess they've like experimented with it, and so I guess they can throw like really slow, loopy curveballs that can like catch the bottom of the plate, and it's like
Unhittable.
bullshit. Just because
Like hits the plate.
the way that the strike zone's described, it's like a 3-dimensional
Yeah.
plate over
The
home plate.
right?
Yeah.
So theoretically, you can throw sliders that come around and just catch the back
The
end.
back end.
The back end, which if you're in the box, like when it comes across where you make contact with, it's not a strike, but it'll come sweep back and hit the strikes in the back. I don't think that'd be a big problem.
I could see issues too with like, I mean, I feel like they probably thought about this, but issues with it like not changing as well to like shorter or bigger players. So a shorter player might have a huge strike zone, like a 6'5" guy would have. If like Altuve's up there with a 6'5" strike zone, and he's like pitches over his head that are called strikes, you know. I feel like they probably thought of that.
I think they'd work that out.
They'd work that out with probably how the laser system works. I don't know. It just
problem
seems to
with
me,
me-
it seems way too gimmicky, and I don't like it.
The problem with me is I just think it's taken away from a game. I mean, coming from someone who pitched in high school, you like make a connection and understand what the ump's doing, where you can get the calls. There's like a whole like secondary game going on between you, the catcher,
Where they're calling strikes out in
and
the
umpire.
corner, or
Like,
inside corner, outside corner.
yeah, my catcher would know what the fuck's going on, where this guy strike zone out, and how we can get this batter out. And the batters know the same thing. So it's like, I don't know, there's like a game inside the game. Like, listen to Trevor Bauer talk about pitching.
Yeah.
It's like a way that you've never even thought about baseball before, the way he talks about pitching.
Yeah.
And that's what I think you almost take away when you take away the umpires.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like
And
any
then-
part of this.
Speaking of catchers, you were a catcher. That takes away the whole framing aspect of catching. So why even have a good catcher? Like, you know, they don't have to frame anything. They could literally just be standing out there, like, you know, like letting them pass them out. It don't even matter.
Like they do in the home run derby. Yeah.
I'm trying to picture like this would never happen. This is completely ridiculous. But I'm trying to think of like a situation where they completely get rid of umps, just a robot back there calling strike balls and strikes, that little like laser zone, and then they throw a pitch way outside, and every single time they throw a ball outside, so they throw 3 balls, but then the catcher throws the ball back to the pitcher 3 times through the strike zone. Reverse. So it's called 3 strikes. They strike them out every time. There's nothing they can do about it.
Damn.
It would never happen, obviously. That's completely unrealistic, but it's picturing a way where robots
saw-
run the game and they fuck it up.
Before we move on, there was one rule change that got shot down, and they wanted to implement. Tell me how stupid this is. They wanted to implement that the pitcher could only pick off 3 times to first base.
Like per batter or the whole game?
The guy gets on first. He can only pick him off 3 times. So what this would limit is that if you picked him off twice, he knows you're not going to pick him off the 3rd time, because then you wouldn't be able to pick him off after that. So he's going to get the steal. If you did pick him off 3 times and you didn't get him, was the motherfucker can just walk to second? Dude, you can't back pick him.
Yeah, literally can go halfway down the line.
So
as soon as
you know
throw
what I'm
the pitches,
saying? So you
that
can't
would
pick
not
him off
work.
3 times, because if you don't get him on the 3rd time, he's going to steal automatically.
Yeah.
So technically, then it like just travels down, as you're not going to pick him off twice because he knows you're not going to pick him off the 3rd time.
So think about this.
So you really only get 1 pickoff move.
You try and pick him off 3 times. You don't get him. He takes an enormous lead, and you can't throw him off. Throw the pitch, he steals second. Can you pick him off at second then or not?
Yeah, you can throw it down to second, but he's going to have a
No,
huge lead.
I'm saying like he's on second base. He gets the steal.
Oh, I don't know.
Because then if you only get 3 pickoff attempts while the guy's on base, then he just does the same thing, gets a huge lead.
They
steals
shot
third.
this rule down. They said that's the fucking worst idea.
Yeah, there's
ever
no
in
idea.
MLB.
No way. No way.
Was there one more?
No.
The timers between pitches. And
I like
innings.
this one a ton, dude. This is my favorite rule ever.
Well,
Pitch
they already
timers
have
between pitches.
They already
They've
have
had
an
it,
inning break.
but yeah,
They haven't like held him to the pitch timers like super like strict though.
They haven't held him to him at all.
Okay.
They just have him up there, and they say follow it.
Yeah.
But they don't get any
I
punishment.
feel like
for
they
it.
were also kind of testing it, like
So-
see what, like
But they're gonna do it for real here, like in the minor leagues. So they're going to do pitch timers between pitches, which is awesome. So they're going to have 30-second pitch clock. They're going to do inning breaks. So clock's going to start when an inning breaks, and the other pitcher has to be ready by the time it hits 0. That's when the first pitch goes up. And then they have pitching changes, which I think should have been done forever ago, because that's what makes MLB so bad to watch. When they switch pitchers and you got to sit there and watch the freaking Skyline commercial 6 times.
Skyline Chili called the bullpen, man. What do you expect?
So, but yeah, I think that's the last one.
So
I'm sure that we all can get behind that
If
one.
you guys could add real quick for you in one rule to the game, funny or regular. I think we've done this a long time ago, but because I think we did this probably like episode 10. But one rule to the game, to baseball, to make it more fun or to make it better, what would it be? I think my rule, I'd bring the softball aspect in it. You hit a fucking moonshot, just walk back to the dugout. You don't even got to run the bases. You can just hit a moonshot, carry your bat with you to the dugout, and take your curtain call. I think it'd be hilarious to see like Giancarlo Stanton hit a moonshot and just turn his back and walk to his dugout. And like before it even lands, he's sitting down in the
It'd
dugout.
be funny when it doesn't go for a homer.
Yeah, I know.
It's the top of the wall.
Out.
And they're like,
Oh, shit.
oh shit! And they take off running, and it's a fucking race to throw it to first. The guy starting from his
I
dugout.
would love it. Obviously, this would never happen, but I would love that role. I think it'd be hilarious.
I think it'd be funny to have the mascots be the bat boy or girl.
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny actually.
Because I feel
see
like
the
they'd
Philly
make,
fanatic bumbling around everywhere.
yeah, I feel like they'd make it funny.
One rule change.
Real or fake, or real or funny, whatever you want.
I've seen the steal first, and I actually think it's kind of cool. Personally, kind of changes the entire game.
So what is that? You just run
Like
to first?
walk into the box and then
Basically-
just take off running.
If there's a pass ball, you can fucking get it. Right? Like you see it go past to the catcher and you're
Yeah.
fucking scooting it. And I mean, if you want to put more runs on the board, more runners on base at a time, that's an easiest way
I feel
ever
like
to do it.
MLB catchers, unless it's like way out there, they'll throw the guy
There's
out.
pass
Yeah,
balls.
but there's
Yeah, no. I'm saying like they would be able to
No,
get
I
to
think
the
it
ball
depends
and
if it
throw 'em
bounces
out.
Yeah, it
off the
depends if
brick.
it bounces back or
Right,
it bounces
yeah.
on the ricochet like
If it
right
bounces
to
off
the
the brick,
corner.
they're gunning your
Oh,
ass.
yeah.
No
I think
doubt.
I'm trying to picture back if that was a rule back in the day with like Poppy and Field over there. They get a pass ball and they're just like, I'm not even trying it. Not even trying it.
That's funny. All right, Jake, send us out of here.
All right, thank you guys for listening. Please check us out on YouTube. We're putting a lot of work in there and starting to really look good. So we appreciate you listening. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Thank you for your listening. We're out.